Okay, so let's look at the model map. And if you go to Lab 5 starts, let's go ahead and open up this JPEG. And I just double clicked on it to preview it. And however you can, just gonna take a peek at this thing. So this is a page from the National Geographic kind of journal or magazine. And it's a map that appeared in 2010. And it's a map that I think it's a good, the strategy for this class is to kind of introduce you to how to make maps by trying to reproduce good examples of cartography. So I wanted to kind of go after a National Geographic reference map. And this one I think kind of tells a story. And it's relatively simple. It's also, it deals with projections, and then it has kind of a nice layout. So I think it's a good example to kind of go after. It's a map that you can get pretty close to doing in Q, but because of some of the line work and lettering, um, it's something I think is a little bit easier to do in Illustrator. And so the workflow that we're going to go through is to compile the data in Q and then to kind of style it in Illustrator. It also involves kind of working with kind of a smaller scale than what we've been working with because we're looking at a whole continent. So I wanted to get into small scale reference maps. It also involves a projection. So you'll probably kind of recognize that we're looking at the South Pole and all of the lines of longitude converge on this point. So we're looking at an azimuthal equidistant projection that's centered on the South Pole. And so then you can start to see, well, what composes this, and you can kind of begin to make a list that we have time zones, and that's around the ring. We have the Antarctic Circle, so we have kind of geographic lines. We've got something here, which I think is a line of latitude. I think it's about this. I think it's the 60-degree line of latitude that's kind of clipping the map in this circle. We've got ice shelves and we've got land masses. We have these stations, and then we have this inset map. So we have, a detailed map that is a larger scale than this. And so what that means technically is that the we may need to draw a different data set to 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 kind of draw this shoreline in kind of sufficient detail because we're going to go from this is about 1 to 50 million to about I think 1 to 2 million for this. And so we probably won't be able to use the same shoreline data set for both because this is going to be more generalized. And if we used this, if we really zoomed into it, it would look kind of wonky. But if we use something that was this detailed, the line would kind of fold in on itself and look kind of blocky. So that's a kind of a classic cartographic problem is picking the right scale and level of detail for like basically matching the scale of your map and the level of detail of your data. Okay, so that's kind of the setup. Is that all right? And this is kind of what our target is for today.